What is going on? I don't think anyone's here yet, but that's okay. When you see it, you'll see it. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. You guys were only 24 and a half hours behind schedule. As I've said before, I'll never lie to you about the things that actually matter. The only thing I do lie about with consistency is what time I will start the show. And maybe my lies are even growing to include what day I'll start the show. So, for any and all that come on in here and tune in, I'm Renee today, God damn it. Saturdays with Kim Brown. Remix. What's going on, y'all? I mean, I can't even say into words how much ass I felt like yesterday. Ass. Oh, I felt like ass. I felt like ass yesterday. I actually think I slept 14 hours, which let me tell you, never happens. I am not, I mean, I sleep well and I sleep soundly, but I don't sleep 8 plus. Not usually. To get a solid 8 is impressive. I usually range between I usually hit 7. I usually hit that sweet spot about 7 hours of sleep. 14 hours, not a thing. That doesn't happen. I think I went to sleep yesterday, in my estimation, maybe about 4:30 ish. Maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock. Sun was still up. Y'all see the days is slowly but surely getting a little longer. That light is being extended just a little bit longer. So I'm guessing that's what time I went to sleep. I woke up. It was dark. I didn't know what time it was. I'm like, is it tomorrow? I looked out on my phone. It was 6:30 in the morning. I was like, my God, 14 hours, eh? Guess I needed it. So consequently, there was no Friday Burn It Down with Kim Brown. So here we are on Saturday. I hope all my fellow comrades, all their shows are finished. I know Gerard, we see Gerard pop up on Saturdays nights. He does Saturday Night Live. Who is yeah? So I'm assuming JB is done. I guess I should have checked. I guess I could have looked. I could have just took a glance to see is Jared still live. Maybe I'll wait. So I don't know. So we're gonna hope for the best. S- Y'all, and here you guys are wondering, you're like, Kim, are we on a is there a burgle theme? Are you am I considering a strong arm robbery upon others in my future? I'm not. I understand. I might be dressed for the part, absent the Pooh Shiesty mask. Ask me who the fuck Pooh Shiesty is. No clue. But that my absent my cops ain't shit mask. Hey. But let me tell y'all, it is brick cold. It is so cold. This is Chicago weather. Okay. In Maryland. And it's not right. The winds, they said, so when I say camera, I'm referring to Storm Team 4 meteorologist, chief meteorologist, that is Doug Kammerer, one of the most trusted meteorologists in the market. Kammerer said the fucking wind gusts was going to be between like 40 and 60 miles per hour. This is outrageous. There is not a Great Lake near this motherfucker. You understand? Like ain't no her like Huron. Where else did the wait? Cleveland sits on Huron. Buffalo and Toronto sit on Lake Ontario. Chicago sits on Lake Michigan. We don't have none of that shit around here. So we have none of that. But what we do have, unfortunately, is a shit-filled river called the Potomac. That is a story I'm going to get into tonight in my show. Not my first story, but I did want to bring it up because they're daring us at this point, everybody, to really burn the shit down. Because, I mean, everything they touch goes to ruins. And then there's no urgency to fix. There's no urgency to improve. In fact, per them, the oligarchs, the elites, the ruling class, they are telling us to get ready for worser conditions. Go fuck yourself. All you motherfuckers. Before we accept worser conditions. Who said that? Right. So let me relax. Let me act like Cash App can't get on the fucking metro and be here in about 10 minutes. Let me let me get my shit together. Yeah, like my crooked. Okay, a little crooked. That's fine. You act like Cash App can't get here. Lickety split. So I have questions. Well, I have lots of questions. Lots of questions. It seems though, these MAGA pieces of shit, deputized, federalized, Proud Boys, doubling as ICE and Customs and Border Patrol agents, Homeland Security agents, all these fucking MAGA pieces of shit really hate women. And they show their hate and their contempt for women in a myriad of ways. Not only do they hate women, they hate children. And it's incredible that they want to force the women to bear the children. It's like, why? So y'all can have what, more populations to fucking abuse? Like, ew, who wants to have y'all fucking nasty MAGA babies? Disgusting. Nobody does. That's why they're trying to abolish the age of consent so these fucking disgusting PDF files can have their way with 12-year-olds. And 12-year-olds aren't going to be eligible for abortions because they live in abortion restricted states. So guess you're trapped for life, little Susie. Jesus Christ. Is this where we shit? Please go buy your guns. Thank you so much. All right, where are we starting? So we're actually going to start off with some good news. What did I actually have this labeled? MAGA incels love harming women is this segment's theme. Brought to you by Smith and Wesson. MAGA incels love harming women. Today brought to you by 6 Hour. 6 Hour, put a big hole in a motherfucker. Thank you so much. This is not an endorsed endorsed segment. 6 Hour and Smith and Wesson do not endorse this content, but they very easily could. And god damn it, they fucking should. Shouldn't they, everybody? Yep, sure should. Anyway, Brother Latif is in the back pushing the boutons for us. Thank you so much to Brother Latif. Brother Latif, if you don't mind, could you pull up? Well, do you have the fight clip? Let's run the fight. Now, we intended to run this on Thursday's Black Liberation Media's Remix Morning Show. Unfortunately, our dear Elder Kamau. I talk shit as though I have room to talk shit about anybody else pushing the buttons. I don't care. All right. Our dear Elder Kamau failed to bring us all the clip. And we did not press him to try again. And I'm sure you've seen this clip. Because you should have seen this clip. Because once you saw this clip, I hope you went and dapped up the Gen Alpha in your life. If you have one. I have no Gen Alphas nowhere. I'm nope. Not narrow one. I know. I think I'm acquainted with some Gen Alphas. I think some of my friends' kids can consider Gen Alpha, but no Gen Alphas in my immediate vicinity that I could dap up and tell them that their generation is doing a fantastic job, and we're very, very proud of them. Okay, because as you guys know, over the past couple of weeks, there have been a number of coordinated actions for people to walk out of work, walk out of school, in order to express solidarity with the communities and the people who have been targeted by ICE and overall by police violence. I think that was included in some of the children's demands and the folks who walked off and protested this regime's tactics as of late. So in Texas, They said in the boot of Texas, but I don't know if they meant like the boot of like the shape of the state of Texas, or was that the name of the town? Whatever. In the sticks, I would imagine somewhat, maybe not wholesale in the sticks, but it was not Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, or even El Paso. This was out there, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, Texas is where we are. The kids righteously walking the fuck out of school, protesting ICE, protesting the occupation and terrorizing of their communities, of their loved ones, of their friends, of their family, and of their classmates. And the kids was with the shit. So they was outside by the hundreds, it appeared, or at least by the many dozens, when some MAGA dipshit. How do you know he was MAGA, Kim? That's racist. Just because he was white? No, he had on the fucking MAGA hat. He had on the uniform, god damn it. He showed us what kind of time he was on when he pulled up. Apparently, he wanted smoke with these children. This grown-ass man, later revealed to be 45-year-old man who is now facing charges for the scene, the ruckus that you're about to see. But the long and the short of it is this fucking grown-ass man hopped out his goddamn vehicle and decided to physically attack a teenage girl. And there seems to be zero reluctance on behalf of the Trump crowd, law enforcement crowd, J6 crowd, Proud Boys crowd, MAGA crowd. They have no problems putting their hands on women in public or girls in public who are strangers to them, right? I can only imagine how the women in their lives are faring, right? I'm like, God damn, if this is how you run up on and I will use female here because this teen girl is not a woman. She is a teenage girl, a female. And these particular brand of men seem to enjoy brutalizing females. Don't care if they're teens, don't care if they're adults. If it's a female, they're going to attack. Except this one got something in return. Courtesy of Gen Alpha. Very proud of the youths out here. You guys are doing a great job raising them. So anyway, let's go ahead and run that fight clip. Woo! It was great. My favorite thing on the internet this week. Alrighty. Now I gotta how much air, how much time do I have to fill? So while Brother Lateef is working on pulling up that clip, guys, I hope everybody got a chance to already see this clip. I hope this is already old news to you. And the funny thing is, when I went back on TikTok, no, I have not put down the TikTok pipe. I'm still on the pipe, so don't judge me. Go fuck yourself. No good. No, not y'all. Go fuck yourself. But don't judge me. I have a problem. But anyway. So went back to look for the fight clip. Not there. Not easily found, as though TikTok had took it down. However, because it had went so viral, it became a legitimate news story, right? So all of the local network affiliates had picked up the story and were running with it, including the video. So they were like, okay, I guess we'll just put it back. Well, at least they should have put it back up, because I guess the shit's newsworthy now, considering that even the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, has offered his fucking 2 cents on the shit, I believe, trying to criminalize or somehow lay blame at the feet of the students who were defending themselves. I'm sorry, I thought Texas was a stand your ground state. What? Motherfucker lucky he ain't get popped. You know what I'm saying? He lucky the kids left their hunting rifles in the goddamn back seat. I'm sorry, no, the children did not have any guns on campus. But it's Texas, so I don't know how that shit goes, to be honest. Like, I mean, they might be allowed to carry guns on campus if they're 18, but let me not spread disinformation. I don't fucking know. Brother Lateef, are we nearby to play that clip?
So this is interesting. The clip is giving a message. I'm getting an error message from the browser that it can't access the screen that I'm trying to capture for this clip. It was playing when I was backstage. But this is also the only video that I wasn't allowed to download as well. So it's something weird going on about this clip. But, and when I attempt to load it to the screen, it will not load. So we must probably have to move on past that one. But in the meantime, I'll attempt it a couple of more times before we move on to the next story, if you like.
Well, it's kind of the same story. So we can go ahead and play the news clip that is at the top of the
Okay.
doc. Well, shit is getting funny already, everybody. I always thought the censorship would come about news happening outside of the US, or I don't fucking know. 3 Eye Atlas. Did y'all see how crazy Jackie looked at me when I mentioned 3 Eye Atlas? She hadn't heard of it. I know. Listen, y'all. I don't give it. Y'all know. First of all, I love Jackie, to be clear, but I noticed that. I know it sounds crazy, but y'all, I'm not the only motherfucker mentioning 3 Eye Atlas, and there are way smarter and learned people than I who can speak way more authoritatively. Jesus Christ, authoritatively. Jesus help me, God. Who can speak with a lot more authority than I can. And these folks are scientists and are well studied and have all the appropriate credentials, and they are all that. Where y'all think I'm getting the shit from? All of them is saying, well, actually, they're not. Well, some of them are going that far. They're basically saying, anyway, I'm not going to go down no 3 Eye Atlas rabbit hole. You niggas can look the shit up. 3 Eye Atlas is not a comet, okay? Comets don't do what the fuck 3 Eye Atlas is doing. Not a single comet, not a one in the history of ever, never, in the history of niggas looking up at the sky, the shit 3 Eye Atlas is doing. Nobody's ever seen that shit do that shit, okay? And the fact that nobody on earth is just like 100 and 200 people. I mean, it's not that short, it's not that small of a group, but you understand, like, in the scheme of things relative to what 3 Eye Atlas means and what it could mean, the rules of physics that it is rewriting, right? They don't want to tell us that shit because then you got to throw your white men away. Then you got to throw your Isaac Newton away. You got to throw your Einsteins away. They don't want to throw them niggas away. They love them niggas. The white European Renaissance fucking, we look at all the cool shit we done discovered when the Africans and Arabs and indigenous folks of the Americas was way millennia ahead of them niggas. They don't want to throw Isaac Newton away. They do not want to throw Albert Einstein away. They do not want to throw their niggas away. So guess what? We just don't get 3 Eye Atlas. Ain't that some shit? I'm sorry. Coming back down to earth. God damn it. So white violence was met with Gen Alpha hands and feet. Okay.
All right, I think I got it. Let's run. The fight. I think I have the fight.
Okay, well, go ahead and run it. White mediocrity meets Gen Alpha hands and feet. Without further ado.
A student-led anti-ICE protest at Johnson High School in Buda turned violent on Monday.
Just felt so crazy.
Alyssa shared her story of the brawl that broke out after a man in a truck began arguing with a student.
She kicks the truck. She just kicks the truck one time, and that's it. And that's the moment I think where he got mad, and I think he reached for his door. He decides to get off the vehicle and starts to come straight to the other girl and start to attack her. And
Alyssa says this video shows the moment she got involved.
He kind of basically got on top of her and started to hit the girl. So in that moment, I reacted and I went and I pulled the guy off, and that's when I just hit him. Everybody just comes in straight and attacks him, and that's just when it escalates from there. And just everybody starts attacking him, and some people are trying to break it off, obviously.
45-year-old Chad Michael Watts was arrested and faces 2 misdemeanor charges of assault causing bodily injury.
He should have known better, like, and he's an adult. He could have just easily, like, let the girl hit the car, parked to the side, called the police, and called it a day. But like, he decided to get off the car and do what he did, and his actions leaded to what he did, and that caused everything, and it just escalated from that.
Alyssa's father says he was furious when Alyssa told him Watts grabbed her by her hair.
I was really, really mad. You know, we're grown-ups. You know, we're not little kids. And, you know, him hitting a girls, females, you're not supposed to do that. He could have just left, you know. No reason to pull over and get off his car.
Buda police say the investigation is continuing and are asking witnesses to share unedited video so they can get a full picture of what happened.
Based on witness testimony, authentic original videos, to see, and working in consultation with the Hays County District Attorney's Office to see what case, if there are any charges that would be applicable, or if not. But we want to be thorough in this investigation to make sure that everybody is held accountable that needs to be held accountable.
A student-led.
So, 45-year-old Chad Michaels. Let me not even give that nigga that joke. I love Blades of Steel. It wasn't Blades of Glory. Blades of Steel, I think, was the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System hockey game. That was Blades of Steel. Will Ferrell's movie was Blades of Glory, wasn't it? Chad Michaels. One of the best figure skaters of our time. Let me calm down. Chad Michael Watts, 45 years old. Let me tell the people of Butte, Texas. Did I understand that to be the right place? Don't cooperate with the police. Don't send them any more videos. They've got their guy. Okay. They've got their man. What it sounds like to me is that the investigators are trying to pin charges potentially on these students who were doing nothing but not only defending themselves, but coming to the aid of one of their classmates who was under attack. Pardon me, 2 of their classmates, because the young lady that we saw there in the interview was not the young lady who was brutally assaulted by all appearances, Chad Michael Watts, right? So this guy, this 45-year-old man, put his hands on at least 2 female students. And I appreciate Gen Alpha's response. Isn't that what I've been begging? Isn't that what I've been up here for the past almost 6 years? Like, literally begging, please intervene. You see a fucking man attack a woman or attack a vulnerable person, don't just stand there and watch. Don't just, obviously, if you're physically, I'm obviously talking to men here, right? Or I'm talking to very stout and physically capable women, or non-binary people. I'm here for, if you got hands and feet that you're willing to throw on behalf of a vulnerable person, I guess I'm talking to you. It matters not your gender expression. I don't give a fuck. But I feel like I got why. Keep touching. Anyway. The male body, more often than not, could get it done. But sometimes the male body lacks the will, and I need y'all niggas to find y'all wills and y'all ways. Okay, I need y'all to find y'all wills and your ways, the way the children did right there in defense of their classmate, in defense of their comrade, and I couldn't be prouder. Were that my child out there in trouble? No, son, no child. Let's go to the mall. What's some shoes you said you wanted? All right. What's the new? I don't get. That's a reward. Okay. That is behavior to be rewarded. Both the protest, the walkout, both. All inclusive. And of course the defense with the hands and the feet. Now, as I mentioned, So far, only the adult is facing charges. And again, I even appreciate the wisdom of the young lady. And again, in the video, she said maybe the girl was wrong to have kicked his truck, but he didn't have to get out of his vehicle. He could have pulled over. He could have called the police. He could have walked away. He could have made a whole bunch of better choices. He did. He could have done all of those things, but because Trump's got the racists out here feeling like they are pumping roids or something. I don't know. Like the mediocrity injectables. maybe that's what they're really selling up there on Trump RX by the fucking boatload. Mediocrity injectables, right? They got these mediocres thinking that they can get out here and just flex on people, and they are really mistaken. And some of them are going to find out the hard way, like Chad Michael Watts right there. Okay. They're going to be met with hands and feet. And again, we have to encourage self-defense for everybody. Okay. Your kids need to know self-defense. Your elders need to know self-defense, right? And or make sure that we are equipped with our conflict resolution tools. Okay. But knowing how to throw hands is very, very, it's, dare I say, it's a life fucking skill. And let me say this, parents, please teach your kids how to fight. Teach your kids how to fight. Like, you don't want to be the kid all of a sudden confronted. Raise your hand if you were that kid, right? Nobody in your house ever taught you how to fight. And all of a sudden, here you are in school or outside of school, and someone wants to fight you. Ooh, what do you do? Running's not an option. Okay? It isn't. Well, if you're about to get jumped, maybe. But either way, please teach your children how to knuckle up. Teach them opposition. Teach them what the dominant hand is, or what, you know what I'm saying? Teach them the jab. Teach them the uppercut. Teach them, for God's sakes, to protect their fucking head and face. Don't have your children out here not knowing how to fight and shit. That's bad. That is bad parenting. I almost equate that to you not teaching your kids how to swim. What are you teaching? How is your child going to fend for themselves out here? Not saying they got to fight to get lunch and shit, but I am saying that everybody needs to know how to fight. Okay. I know a young person who is very large for their age, and their parent is a very peaceful type of person, and they said that they won't teach their child how to fight because they don't believe in fighting. I said, well, what if again, you don't have to believe in something for it to still be so, right? You yourself don't, you don't have to believe in fighting for somebody to come and punch you in the face, right? You'll believe then. But anyway, neither here nor there for this discussion. But shout out to Gen Alpha, shout out to the kids, and fuck you, Chad Michael Watts, you piece of shit. Hopefully the people see you around town. They'll see you at the Piggly Wiggly. They'll see you at the motherfucking God damn it, what's the gas station out there in Texas? Probably they'll see you at your ass at the Circle K. They're gonna see you a bunch of places, and I hope everybody says hey. I hope the folks recognize you from your mugshot, Chad Michael Watts, and I hope they remember that you like to run up on, accost, and assault, at least according to eyewitnesses and according to the police and according to the videos, you like to assault teen girls. And however the people in your community feel as though you should be greeted, I hope they do that. Where did I go here? So this is, hold on, where's my next story? Because sometimes I move stuff around. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's a lie. I do know what I'm talking about. I just move stuff around, and then I get a bit out of order. But I never ask you guys to like the video enough. So while I stall for time here for a few seconds, please like the video, please engage and subscribe.
Raman.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you so much. From January 2026. And so we're going to play the clip of her getting pulled out of the car and then her testimony, right? Excellent. All right. Speaking of cops ain't shit. Did I officially name this cops ain't shit? I don't think so. It could be. The regular news is cops ain't shit news, right? So I don't always have to make it a special segment. But again, it's something about these. It is not even so much these particular jackbooted thugs, these versions of this wave of MAGA influx into law enforcement. And that's even, that's a bit of a mischaracterization because we've been looking at stories here on this platform pre-Trump and even before, cops brutalizing women also, right? So obviously this is a function of the system. It is a function of this institution. Women are included in the brutalization. I wish you guys could hear this wind. This wind is brutalizing right now. This shit sounds crazy. So this is a clip that you may have seen also, but because there's been so much coming out of Minneapolis, you may have missed this. So this actually happened January 2026. I believe this happened the next day after Renee Good was killed by ICE agent Jonathan Ross, where Renee Good was shot 3 times, at least one in the head on a public street, mere blocks away from where George Floyd was murdered by police. This woman, her name is Alia Rahman, and she's brown. She's also disabled. And she also had the misfortune of encountering these jackbooted thugs while she was on her way to a doctor's appointment. However, the way to the doctor's as she was driving there took her through a protest in which ICE agents forced her out of her vehicle as she screamed that she was a disabled person and that she was going to a doctor's appointment. And I'm going to give y'all trigger warnings for this because fortunately she survived. But she was injured. And we're going to see her give testimony in public about the extent of the injuries that she sustained, in addition to the horrific treatment she endured in ICE custody. And by the way, she's a U.S. citizen. So everybody can get it, okay? Like everybody's getting it. This is crazy, crazy, and crazy. So content warning and trigger warning for what you're about to see. This is physical assault on a disabled person, police brutality, and just cruelty. I can't articulate it any other way. So let's go ahead and run that clip, please. We don't hear it. There's no sound.
I have a brain injury!
Stay back.
I am autistic and I have a brain
back.
injury! Put me down! I was just trying to get to the doctor and I'm autistic! It takes me a move my car! Ah! I am disabled! I have a brain injury!
Stay back.
I am autistic and I have a brain injury! Put me down! I was just trying to get to the doctor and I'm autistic! It takes me a
Yeah, that it was a very jarring scene. Sorry for the choppiness, but I think you guys get the idea of this lady, you know, not having anything to do with the protests, but still having to go attend to her business, go attend to her health needs by going to her doctor's appointment. And she's going to articulate the extent of the brain injury that I believe caused her to be in part disabled. I heard her say there in the clip that she's autistic as well. So, I just can't. I mean, for those of us that have had encounters with police, the police have never smashed my window and grabbed me out of the fucking car. But you know, your nerves and your heckles are up when having to deal with cops. Now imagine having to deal with cops screaming at you. Now imagine having to deal with cops that are willfully trying to violate the sanctity of your vehicle with no justifiable legal reason, just because they fucking felt like it. They wanted to. They saw a brown person and they decided to roll the dice of this person's citizenship or else type of status, right? So Alia gave testimony recently about her experience that day for what the incident that you just saw, but it didn't get better. After they pulled her out of her vehicle, shoved her to the ground or threw her to the ground, she was arrested and she was taken, I believe, to the Whipple building, downtown Minneapolis, where she was held for some time, where she was denied medical access. She was denied a call to her legal representation. She was just denied everything. Okay. And she articulates it really, really well. And I'm not going to try to encapsulate her words because she speaks for herself just fine. So let's go ahead and take a listen, but please pay attention because I want to emphasize again, this lady is a U.S. citizen. Okay. This treatment is not being dispensed according to citizenship, right? Like if they get you, if you are captured by the fucking jackbooted thugs, if you are captured by Trump's secret army, they're going to treat you like absolute shit. They don't give a fuck if you're a citizen, if you're not a citizen, but especially if you are non-white, expect to get it worse. Definitely expect to get it worse. So let's take a look at Alia's brave and compelling testimony.
Thank you, members, for taking time to be here today, and thank you, staff, for making this happen. My name is Alia Rahman, and I am a resident of South Minneapolis. I'm a Bangladeshi American, born in northern Wisconsin, and I'm a disabled person with autism and a traumatic brain injury. Not all autistic brains do this, but mine fixates on sounds, numbers, and patterns. And while what the world saw happen to me exactly 3 weeks ago today on video was a terrible violation, it is still nothing compared to the horrific practices I saw inside the Whipple Center. So I am here today with a duty to the people who have not had the privilege of coming home, and I offer this data because these practices must end now. On January 13th, on the way to my 39th appointment at Hennepin County's Traumatic Brain Injury Center, I encountered a traffic jam caused by ICE vehicles and no signs indicating how to get around it. I had not wanted to pull into a blocked, chaotic intersection, but verbally agreed to do so and rolled down my window after an agent yelled, "Move! I will break your effing window!" His first instruction. Agents on all sides of my vehicle yelled conflicting threats and instructions that I could not process while watching for pedestrians. Then the glass of the passenger side window flew across my face. I yelled, "I'm disabled," at the hands grabbing at me, and an agent said, "Too late." I felt immersed in a pattern, and I thought of Genoa Donald, an autistic black man killed by police during a traffic stop in 2021. I remembered Mr. Silverio Gonzalez, who was killed by ICE in his vehicle last year. An agent pulled a large combat knife in front of my face, which I thought was for cutting me, and later learned was used to cut off my seatbelt. Shooting pain went through my head, neck, and wrists when I hit the ground face first and people leaned on my back. I felt the pattern, and I thought of Mr. George Floyd, who was killed 4 blocks away. I was carried face down through the street by my cuffed arms and legs while yelling that I had a brain injury and was disabled. I now cannot lift my arms normally. I was never asked for ID, never told I was under arrest, never read my rights, and never charged with a crime. Approaching the Whipple Center, I saw black and brown bodies shackled together, chained together, being marched by yelling agents outdoors. I continue to hear the word bodies because that is how agents refer to us. We're bringing in a body. They're bringing in bodies, 7, 8 at a time. Where do I put them? We can't use that room. There's already a body in there. You have no reason to believe you will make it out alive if you are already being called a body. Agents repeatedly had to stop and ask how to do tasks. I received no medical screening, phone call, or access to a lawyer. I was denied a communication navigator when my speech began to slur. Agents laughed as I tried to immobilize my own neck. I asked for my cane and was told no, pulled up my arms and prodded forward in leg irons by agents laughing and saying, "Walk, you can do it, walk." Agents did not know if the facility had a wheelchair. When I was finally placed in one to be taken to interrogation, an agent taunted, "You were driving, right? So your legs do work." I pleaded for emergency medical care for over an hour after my vision had become blurry, my heart rate went through the roof, and the pain in my neck and head became unbearable. It was denied. When I became unable to speak, my cellmate pleaded for me. The last sounds I remember before I blacked out on the cell floor were my cellmate banging on the door, pleading for a medic, and a voice outside saying, "We don't want to step on ICE's toes." When I opened my eyes at Hennepin County's emergency room, I learned I was brought there to be treated for assault. The impacts of DHS detention on my physical, mental, and financial well-being and safety have been very severe, but I do not deserve more humane treatment than anyone else, U.S. citizen or not. And I am here today with a strong spirit and a duty to the many people who haven't had the privilege to tell their stories or see their loved ones come home. I am extremely distressed by the pattern that violence from law enforcement has been happening to Black and Indigenous communities for centuries, and to DHS survivors for over 20 years. We call ourselves a civilized nation, but we lack rules and accountability around what a person claiming to be law enforcement is permitted to do to another human being. I am not afraid, and I'm not afraid to keep working on this problem even after ICE is gone. Thank you for your time.
Ali Rockman of South Minneapolis, speaking very forcefully and very eloquently. And let me say this without hesitation: people who mock, people who harass, people who bully, people who brutalize and put their hands on disabled people, those kind of people need their teeth kicked in and they need to be ball stomped. Those kind of people, not only are they worthy of physical harm, whew, tremendous physical harm. You like to pick on disabled people. Oh, people who have mobility issues, you like to laugh at them and mock them and tell them, oh, you can walk. Oh, you were driving. Oh, you're not disabled. Oh, your legs work just fine. How about your little shriveled up HGH affected? How about them little balls? Can we injure your scrotum? Like there's so much more I want to say about those that would dispense such treatment against vulnerable folks. There is part of indigenous culture, North American indigenous culture. Maybe it's, across the Americas, the indigenous diaspora, but I can't remember which nation it was, but maybe I've recounted this before. Part of the way that this particular indigenous nation's society was set up, when in part of their rituals or their ceremonies, the entire tribe would come together and they would form a circle, but inside the circle they would put the kids, they would put the elders, they would put the disabled people, and then those people would be in the middle of the circle, and then the next circle, I believe, would be the women, right? Strong folks, young adults, old teens, right? And then on the outside would usually be the warriors in the last circle, encircling the women, encircling the children, encircling the elders and the disabled. The strongest would be on the outside to protect the most vulnerable on the inside. And that was symbolic, but it was also representative of how they viewed who was most worthy of protection and who was there to fight for that protection. But these fucking pussy coward secret army, Gestapo, SS, old school American white nationalist militia. This is all white knights. This is what the white knights wish they could have been fucking doing, right? All the 1850 and 1793 Fugitive Slave Act energy. Like, yo, you guys are the worst of the worst. You talk about Trump has sent you to go collect the worst of the worst. No, you are the worst of the worst. I wish all the bad things in the world happened to you and only you. All of you. You want to throw disabled people around? You want to mock them, laugh them, deny them treatment? Special places for your scrotums. There is a special place in hell for your scrotums. Okay. And you motherfuckers are going to get it, and you're going to get it in spades. You know who else is going to get it? Whoever the fuck shot non-lethals at a pregnant woman during a protest in Los Angeles over the weekend, actually. As I keep trying to remind folks here on the platform, LA has been going through this shit in terms of this specific Trump regime, ICE surge, Homeland Security, random roving assaults on people, kidnappings, just reprehensible stuff. They are maybe 8 months in. LA Taco obviously keeps tally of the days that Los Angeles and the South Southland, I'm learning the lingo. Southland, California has been under siege and it's 200 plus days. Pardon me, a very long time. But the folks that have been showing up downtown LA at the MDOC, at the federal facility where kidnapped persons are taken, the folks have been down there. Like they have. In what numbers, I'm not sure. I think, some days brings out bigger amounts of people, but there is a constant steady presence down at the MDOC facility. So this weekend, obviously no different. In the weeks now since Alex Preddy was murdered in Minneapolis, people have been consistently turning up for actions, for mobilization down at these ICE facilities. It's really important. However, this continued attack on women by these cowardly fucking men. And what is at the base of this, guys? And I mean, psychologically, this could be a combination of mommy issues, sure. This could be, sexual rejection, as I'm certain it is, as I'm certain that's a large part of it, right? This is how no pussy getting motherfuckers behave, right? With frustration and violence towards those that are quite legitimately denying them pussy. Who the fuck would fuck you guys? Ew. Look at you. Ew. All of that is little dick energy. What about that is enticing? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is turned on besides who was fucking Hitler's side bitch? Ava, what was her last name? Ava Hitler bitch. I don't know what the fuck her name was. Her. You know what I'm saying? Ava Braun. Yes, there we go. It is a certain piece of fucking trash, like a Carolyn Bryant, like a Nicki Minaj. Just a certain piece of trash, the specific trash that this type of little dick behavior. Does that get you? Does that do something for you, baby? I don't understand. Anyway, let's go to Los Angeles. Let me talk. And we are about to hear from one of the bravest women you will ever hear from. Right? Know her name, because this lady knows why she's out there. She understands that anyone that would say to her, well, you're pregnant, why would you go out there and protest and put yourself in danger? First Amendment, freedom of speech, your right to assemble, your right to criticize the government, your right to do all the things that people have been out there doing is allegedly sacrosanct in this country. This is supposed to be akin to damn near the 10 fucking commandments, the Bill of Rights, right? So if she doesn't go out there and fight for her rights and the rights of her unborn baby, then she might as well not have the fucking baby. You know what I'm saying? She might as well not have the baby. If the baby can't have First Amendment rights, if the child's mother cannot go out there and exercise her First Amendment rights whilst pregnant, then she might as well not even have the fucking baby. Where is she going to bring the baby into this world for? Where pregnant women get shot at simply for being present and utilizing their freedom to assemble. So anyway, let's take a look at the story.
She got shot in the stomach, everybody. She got shot in the stomach, everybody. She's pregnant.
The video is tough to watch. A woman clearly in distress holding her stomach after she says she was shot multiple times with rubber bullets at an anti-ICE rally in downtown LA Saturday night. We spoke with her on the phone today. She doesn't want to share her identity, but does want to share her story. She says she wasn't in the crowd facing off with LAPD and federal agents. She claims she was on the side and targeted by Border Patrol.
When they saw that I was filming towards the sniper behind them, and that I was able to get that footage. They started shooting at me.
She confirmed she is pregnant, says a doctor told her she and the baby are okay, and is defending her decision to be there to help protect the rights of protesters.
I'm not putting my baby in danger. DHS and Border Patrol and LAPD are putting my baby in danger.
She sent us this video, which she says is from her own phone, of the moment she was hit Saturday night. You can hear her cry out. Are you okay? And see her drop. She says she had a panic attack and fainted. When it happened, between 9 and 10 p.m., LAPD had already issued a dispersal order and was reporting protesters were throwing bottles and other projectiles at them. Still, military veteran and activist Bianca Stepani,
I've been protesting out here for about 6 or 7 months now,
who took the video of the injured pregnant woman and tried to help, says the response she saw seemed excessive.
they're actually not only violating civil rights, but they're also not following proper protocol when it comes to using non-lethal force. They're supposed to aim at the ground, shoot a warning shot.
The pregnant woman told us she was back outside the Metropolitan Detention Center the next day, taking this video, which appears to show a federal agent flashing his gun at protesters. What she says is an example of why she'll keep hitting the streets, not in spite of being pregnant, but in large part because of it.
I need to be able to say that I did the right thing.
We did reach out to LAPD and immigration officials for clarity and comments on what happened. LAPD says they have no information on the incident. We have not yet heard back from federal agencies.
And if they do respond, DHS spokesperson Trisha McLaughlin, another cunt, she is probably going to say something like this pregnant woman was antagonizing Border Patrol from across the way, and with her words and her dangerous brown skin, Border Patrol had no choice but to defend themselves against her looks and her disapproving scowl. Did I mention her dangerous brown skin? What is the fucking excuse here? What is there is none. It is unabashed, sanctioned violence against women. Oh, and I'm sorry, all of that pro-life, we have to protect the unborn. Oh, you can easily protect the unborn by not shooting rubber bullets at its mother. Certainly not shooting rubber bullets at its mother's stomach, where the unborn are trying to, gestate and live in shit. Y'all, in a civilized society, what would you do to those who would shoot rubber bullets at the stomach of a pregnant woman? Like if we lived like in a real society, right? That actually operated the way many indigenous societies do, where the strong men on the outside protect the women on the inside, protect the children, the elders, and the disabled on the very, very inside. Like, what do you think would, if we lived in a just world, what would be done to those that would fire rubber bullets at the stomach of a pregnant woman? Is that the kind of behavior that should be rewarded? Do you get a raise for doing that? You get a promotion? But to many people's very legitimate points, when have pregnant women of color ever been safe? When were enslaved Black women safe? Their babies safe? Indigenous women, babies? The horrific ways in which white settlers and the U.S. military, what they did to pregnant people in indigenous nations, what they did to infants, to children, to the unborn. Seeing this fucking pig shoot rubber bullets at this pregnant woman in 2026 is very on brand for what America was doing in 1826. Motherfucking 1926. Goddamn 1726. That's what America does. Doesn't value life, doesn't value protecting those that actually give and provide life, create children, give birth. No, disposable, able to be brutalized at will. not worthy of protection. I don't want America to be able to behave like this for another 100 years, right? Like, you would think, after like 300 or so years, niggas, when they get tired of brutalizing women, ain't y'all brutalized enough women? Haven't you harmed enough children? Isn't it time to take a break? Not even stop. Can you take a break for fuck's sake? I mean, we would love for it to stop, but in lieu of stoppage, could we negotiate a fucking truce? God damn. And see, a truce implies two warring and opposing sides. Unfortunately, women and children have not yet waged war on this system the way that we totally need to. Again, this being brought to you by Taurus Pistols. At Taurus, we buck shit. No, it's not being brought to you by Taurus, but you understand, like, women and children, we are having war waged against us. We have not yet waged war back. That's why the first clip we played with Gen Alpha stomping out a MAGA troglodyte. Someone on TikTok used that word. I said that's what the elders used to call shit. I thought troglodyte meant like a whore, a hussy. Maybe we just repurposing words for whatever. I don't care. That MAGA mediocre piece of shit. When I saw the children stomping him out, I said, yes, it needs to happen more. He thought he was going to harm a child. The child's responded. The child's responded. Okay. And I can't wait for women them to also respond. It's about to happen though. I'm trying to get y'all going. I'm trying to give myself pep talk too, because girls, let's all say it together. You ready? The next one dies. That's correct. Yes. Either the next one doesn't make it, or the next one gets some version of a very hasty castration, right? Like, damage must be done to scrotums. I mean, tremendous damage. Irreparable damage. You can't repair this with surgery. Hope you already got kids, because if you don't, you're never going to have them. No, you won't. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of time I need women to get on, okay? A man attack, you be ready to put him down like the fucking dog that he is. And if you can't put him down physically, do damage to that scrotum. Woo! Dust it up. Hit that shit like the speed bag, like you motherfucker. Or depending on if it's let me hush. You might have to go double flicks. Gentlemen, I'm so sorry to put you all through these visuals, but the problem is there are segments of the mandem that are worthy of this kind of treatment. In fact, many, I don't know how many, but enough of them are overdue, in fact, for this kind of response. And how? I cannot wait. Oh, I hope I'm here to see it. What a day when the tables would turn. What a day when the tables will turn. And the tables are going to turn, and them niggas not going to like it. And that's okay, though, because the reason I want women to respond with violence to violence is because, I'm sorry, the threat of police and judges and jails, all that, none of that shit is enough to discourage those that would cause us harm. It's not enough of a deterrent. They need to be either or maimed, okay? Because then it'll be a lesson to the others. But until then, they're just going to do what the fuck they've been doing, and that cannot be allowed to run. Even though I do not have daughters, I do not want that for your daughters. I will not accept that for your daughters, okay? Please teach your daughters to put the rabid dogs down. Teach them. Anyway. Hope everyone's well. We're going to take a small break. It's Saturday. Renee's going to sue me for copyright infringement. No, it's burn it down with Kim Brown on a Saturday. Wasn't feeling good on a Friday. It's -1 degrees and oh wait, that's a lie. Hold on. Let's ask Siri's bitch ass. What's the current feels like temperature?
Currently feels like -4 degrees Fahrenheit.
This is Chicago weather. This is why I could never live in Chicago. I would die. I would not survive in -4 for more than, and this shit has been cold. It has been cold here, y'all, now for weeks. 4 weeks. And it's not good. I don't dig it. I thought I saw one super chat roll up, Brother Latif. Was that accurate or inaccurate? And I'm sorry, back to the temperatures. That's why I have my hoodie on. I will, yes, it is. It's cold in here. Not in my house, praise the Lord Jesus, but in this room, it is chilling. It's chilling. And I figured it's probably fucking cold where y'all are too. God damn it. It's winter. It's February and shit. But it's cool, bro, Latif. Don't sweat it. If you can't find it.
No,
whoa. Echo. Feedy backy.
Okay. Am I still echoing?
No.
Okay. All right. Quite right. Thank you, big dumb animal, for the super secret. Appreciate that. Also, big shout out to Nat. She's going to be celebrating her birthday this weekend, I think she said. So big shouts out to Nat.
What? Natty? Girl, they dug y'all out of Nashville yet?
Nat's showing up, and you're getting real big support. Good
sorry.
to see you, Chuck Diesel. I appreciate my Twitch as well.
Thank you. Nat A. I heard that y'all was still buried under ice and snow down there in Tennessee. They kept, oh man. Can I'm gonna talk about infrastructure coming up here. I meant to include another story on my infrastructure story. But y'all, I'm sorry. Like, is this the future? Are we in it? 2026. How in the fuck is everything still falling the fuck down when it goddamn snows real hard? Like, make it make sense. I understand that nature is nature. I get that. I get that. But for all the innovation and technology allegedly that we are supposed to have achieved by this point in our existence, I mean, I'm sure China don't look like this when they have a lot of ice. I'm sure China just turned the fucking heat on the goddamn sidewalk and everything goddamn melt because it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in America, here in Prince George's County, Maryland, the children lost out on 7 days of school, which I'm sure they didn't give a fuck about. But at the same time, like, really, we're really just that easily defeated by Jesus Christ, by ice and snow. Does that make any fucking sense? No, it doesn't. Actually, I might find that, but hold on, I got something else to talk about. So, because and this is a cops ain't shit story in a way. And no, I guess it ain't no in a way. It is a cops ain't shit story. So let me take y'all to New York City. August of 2023. A 30-year-old man, I believe he was from the Bronx. His name is Eric Duprey. New York police claim that Eric had just did some sort of hand-to-hand drug transaction. These punk motherfuckers never even mentioned what kind of drugs it was. That's how I know it was some bullshit, right? Chances are it's bullshit. Either way, not a reason for this man to no longer be here. So, according to the story, as Mr. Duprey was fleeing the scene on his scooter, you may or may not remember the story. I didn't, and I was disappointed that I could not remember what happened to this gentleman. But the long and the short of it is, as he was getting away from police while on his scooter, a fucking punk ass pig of a cop, an NYPD sergeant, took a cooler, like filled with ice and drinks. I think reports said the cooler was 30, 40 pounds. He took this cooler And as Eric Duprey was going by him on his scooter, he threw it at his head. And Mr. Duprey fell off the scooter or crashed the scooter and sustained a devastating head injury and died. And this murder happened 3 years ago. And just days ago, there was a verdict in the trial. This man, this NYPD sergeant, was eventually charged. So he was only charged with manslaughter, not intentional murder. I mean, I don't know. You know what? Let's watch the story. So I'm going to show you all the first story. So this is going to be from 2023 when the incident initially happened. And content warning for sadness. I think this, if this is the right clip that I pulled, we're going to hear from his family and others in the community who were just in tremendous confusion as to how this man ended up dead. So anyway, let's go back here to 2023 for when the story broke about Eric Duprey being murdered by New York Police Department.
Memorial for 30-year-old Eric Duprey. Candles, flowers, and poster-sized photos. Under this tent tonight, a large memorial for 30-year-old Eric Duprey. Candles, flowers, and poster-sized photos of the father of three killed Wednesday evening during an NYPD drug buy and bust operation that turned fatal.
I don't understand what happened and the accident and I don't know. Me no stand for right now and what happened.
This is abuse, power abuse.
Eric Duprey's wife says she wants justice for her husband. Police say he was caught selling narcotics to an undercover officer. He was on his scooter and then sped off. Police say he zigzagged down the street and then on the sidewalk toward officers. Surveillance video shows the final moments of that chase when undercover Sergeant Eric Duran grabs a red cooler and throws it at Duprey, knocking him off the bike and ultimately resulting in his death. Duprey hitting his head. Cell phone video shows another officer removing the cooler from the scene.
There was no reason to kill him. He don't got no gun. He wasn't nothing. He got nothing on him.
Police say Sergeant Duran has been suspended from duty without pay, saying in a statement, the NYPD is committed to ensuring that there will be a full, thorough, and transparent investigation of this incident to determine the facts and to take the appropriate steps forward.
I don't want him suspended. I want him in jail. I don't want him suspended with no pay, nothing. He's suspended, but he's still home. He still see his family.
Law enforcement sources say Duprey has 2 prior arrests, including felony assault and a drug arrest. His wife says he's a caring father who should be alive.
My kids, they deserve to grow with a father. Now they don't have a father. We was going to take my kid to school next week, and this is not right.
Again, the Attorney General's office is conducting an independent investigation. The medical examiner's office will ultimately determine the cause of death. Reporting from Fordham, Ida Siegel.
Fordham, where's that, guys? Queens? Bronx? I don't know my New York all that well. Even still, a devastating story from 2023, the murder of Eric Duprey by NYPD Pig Sergeant Eric Durant. I think that's what they said his name was. So this case took 3 years to go to trial. It took a couple years for Letitia James to bring charges. There was a lot of public pressure. A lot of folks were in the streets continuously pushing Letitia James' office to bring charges against this cop. Eric Adams even offered words of condemnation against this conduct, which I was kind of surprised by, though I'm not clear about. In the package there, we saw a video of NYPD removing the cooler. I'm like, isn't that the fucking murder weapon? Like, what are y'all doing? But anyway, so apparently the trial of this cop over the past several weeks here in early 2026 has been a bit contentious there in the Bronx because the NYPD, the city's biggest gang, definitely showed up to support one of their own, right, as gang members tend to do. But Eric Duprey's family and community also showed up for him as well. And apparently there had been some um tension, let's say, in the courtroom, outside of the courtroom. Words have been exchanged, as you can imagine. Well, a verdict finally came down in the trial of this fucking pig cop. Now, what do the cops who kill people, obviously the very small minority of cops who kill people in public or who are members of the public, actually are charged and then actually go to trial? Like, what is one of their go-to strategies, these particular cops who are defending themselves in the criminal justice system? They usually opt for a bench trial, right? Because they know that the judges are they all in it together, right? Cop knows that he or they are more likely to get a favorable verdict from a single judge than they are from a jury of 12 who may have varied encounters with law enforcement, right? So they usually opt for the bench trial. Let me say one more thing before we go to the trial. When I hear the news operate as cop stenographers and propagandists, and they run down the prior offenses of the murder victim, here in this case, Mr. Duprey, they try to justify his murder by police because he allegedly had drugs, or he had a drug offense on his record, or he was allegedly part of this drug sting. The problem with characterizing the war on drugs is that when drugs enter the story, law enforcement gets the justification and the green light to treat it like a war. What happens in war? You kill people in war, right? The war on drugs is a misnomer, okay? It is a war on people. The war on drugs is not a thing. If you wanted to dismantle drug abuse, you would provide the facilities and the education and the healthcare for people not to remain addicted to drugs. Or here's a crazy idea. What if you give people mental health care kind of on the front side, so maybe they don't turn to drugs, right? But that doesn't happen in America, silly. Anyway, war on drugs gave the NYPD the green light to murder Eric Duprey, even though he was unarmed, even though he wasn't accused of hurting anybody, right? So they killed him because it looked like he was going to get away. And we know fleeing, even though it's not in the statute, fleeing is something that police consider an executable offense, right? They will absolutely be judge, jury, and executioner and give the death penalty right there on the spot if you dare run from them. It's not like they have flock cameras on every block. It's not like they have cell phone trackers. How dare you run? We'll just kill you. Duh. Stop all this silly fleeing shit. This punk pig, his verdict. Lateef, let's go. Let's go to the verdict, everybody.
In a Bronx courtroom while his client remained stoic Friday. The shock evident on the face of Eric Duran's attorney in a Bronx courtroom while his client remained stoic Friday when a judge read the verdict guilty of second-degree manslaughter.
A court in the Bronx said Black Lives Matter.
The case stems from an incident in August of 2023. NYPD Sergeant Eric Duran seen on video throwing a cooler at 30-year-old Eric Duprey, going 30 miles per hour on a motorized scooter on the sidewalk. Duprey was not wearing a helmet and died in the crash after he lost control. The father of three had, according to police at the time, just sold drugs to an undercover officer and was fleeing arrest. It was a bench trial, meaning no jury, only Bronx Supreme Court Judge Guy Mitchell, who ruled that Sergeant Duran, who had testified at trial he was trying to protect fellow officers, had not done so appropriately. and was guilty of a charge that can carry up to 15 years in prison. After the verdict, Dupree's wife stood next to a cardboard cutout of her late husband.
I have no word to tell you right now.
You said 3 years you've been...
3 years. 3 years waiting for justice.
And after he read the verdict, the judge agreed to an increase in bail, $300,000 in cash, which has to be posted by Duran by Tuesday of next week to remain out of custody until sentencing on March 19th.
I'm curious how much time this cop will get. March 19th sentencing date. Let me remember that. Cop found guilty, second-degree manslaughter. I think it carries a maximum penalty, maybe up to 15 years. The reporter might have said it there, but also in reporting about the guilty verdict for this killer cop, you heard the cop again to talk there in the report from the journalist. Oh, Mr. Duprey was fleeing the scene after the NYPD alleged he just bought drugs or sold drugs in an undercover drug sting. When he was struck by the cooler, he lost control of the scooter. He wasn't wearing a helmet. That's not why he died. He died because someone threw a 40-pound object at his head while he was fleeing and going at a speed that, had he been struck literally with anything, it would have proven to be fatal, as is what happened. So I am glad, I guess. Again, I don't know how I feel about the whole concept of justice for, because the loved ones don't come back, right? And I understand, especially when the murderer is a cop, because cops are supposed to not only know the law better in a more intimate way than the average person, but are supposed to be held to a higher standard to uphold the law. And in my opinion, when they break the law, they should be punished more harshly. Police have real power over us, everybody. They are given the authority to execute us on the street at their own discretion. So when they break the fucking law, really the book should be thrown at them hard. And they don't get lesser treatment because they are police. You're supposed to get harsher treatment from the system because you're the police, because you are the ones entrusted to enforce the law. And when they break it, they break trust. But again, all that is, fairy tale mumbo jumbo. If you are non-white, you should have zero faith in the police. And if you are whites with sense, you too should have zero faith in the police. The police are here to protect rich people's property, okay? And if they have to do a war on drugs just so they can execute people wantonly in public, that is exactly what they will continue to do, as they have done since day. But I am glad for the family of Eric Duprey. Again, in these situations, I guess I want what the family wants. If that's what they wanted, then that's what the fuck I want. But of course, we always want worse for the cops, right? So we'll pay attention to when this pig is sentenced. And let me give kudos to the judge here, if I could, for a second. Okay, judge. Okay, judge. I wasn't following this trial, so I'm not certain if second-degree manslaughter was the leading charge. Was that the charge, or did they start off with like a second-degree murder charge, or first-degree voluntary manslaughter? I'm not sure how we got to second-degree manslaughter, but the judge could have went another way, and the judge decided to go in the way of actual justice. Like, y'all, in the judiciary better be holding these cops accountable, because in the wake of all these ICE fatal shenanigans, right, it is really just a matter of time before somebody or somebodies start doing targeted things towards these folks if they continue this outright brutalization. There is a social media account that I follow called American Underground. And the dude gives a lot of stories about organized groups, usually from the 60s, 70s, even into the 80s and 90s. And they range from Puerto Rican liberation groups. He's done a number of videos on the Black Liberation Army. He's done videos on um environmental rights activists, but people that was with the shits, right? Okay, like they fuck all that talking and marching, and they out there shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like they was with the shits. These different groups, all with the shits. He was talking about this Puerto Rican group the other day, who these niggas, the what are they called? The not the macho terroristas. There's something. I'm not saying the name correct because my brain doesn't work that way. But anyway, they fired. This was like in the 80s, I want to say, late 70s, early 80s. This Puerto Rican liberation group in San Juan. These niggas fired rockets at. Niggas fired rockets at the fucking FBI building. Now they didn't kill anybody. But the audacity, the audacity to shoot rocket launchers at the FBI building. I said, I like your style. It's a PLO style. Buddha monks with the owl. Like, yo. Anyway, I'm not going to say too much. Anyway. Yeah, judges, when you get these killer cops in your courtroom, you better be doing the right thing. And to my bruvs locked down, when these killer cops come through your unit, y'all better do the right thing. Like Spike Lee joint, y'all better do the right thing. Do the right thing. Who used to sing that song? Who was that? 3 Times Dope? No, that was Redhead Kingpin, wasn't it? You got to do the right thing. Do the right thing. It wasn't a hit. If you didn't remember it, you cannot be blamed. Thank you all so much. Hey, we accept money over here. Shout out to Big Dumb Animal for your super sticker support. We sure appreciate it. And we will accept your funds at BIDWKB. That's us on the Cash App, the Venmo, the PayPal, the Patreon, and in the super chats. We're not demonetized yet. I don't intend to get demonetized. I don't think YouTube pays attention to what the fuck I do over here. That's fine. I don't really give a shit. But I appreciate support. So please and thank you. But your attendance here tonight is tremendously appreciated because this is not our usual show night. And we are coming to the people at a new time. So I know it's a lot to get accustomed to. And I don't know if YouTube is sending out proper push notifications for this here platform and channel. So for those that show up, I appreciate it. I see you, Swear Furry. I see you, Holly Horn. I see the folks coming through. I appreciate it. Where the fuck am I going next? I'm so sick of this place. We are going to the Potomac River. The Potomac River is the natural boundary between Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Or at least it's one of the natural boundaries. There's a lot of waterways around here. This is, the upper part of the Chesapeake Bay. No, kinda. I guess Baltimore is the upper part. Well, no, upper Maryland. There's a lot of water around here. Okay. And you guys may have heard the story or not have heard the story, but there was a sewage leak, a rupture of a raw sewage line or some fucking shit. I don't know. The long and the short of it is 300 million gallons, and that's probably an undercount because they don't really know. 300 million gallons of raw sewage has leaked into the Potomac River. And it's really emblematic for where the country is right now, and particularly representative of the fucking person who sharted his way into the White House. I said, isn't this appropriate? Didn't Trump just clear the fucking room with obvious sharding, and then the raw sewage is doing nothing but sharding millions of gallons of raw sewage into the Potomac River. Now, here's the kicker. How this was initially discovered was via one of the river keepers, okay? Now, the woodsy whites. Let me not just classify all the whites. The woodsy whites, the Hagrid. This nigga remind me of Hagrid. I was watching the Harry Potter the other day. I said that nigga look like the river keeper, Hagrid. So anyway, he don't really look like Hagrid. It's a little bit. All whites don't look alike. So, but some of them do. But anyway, so the river keeper was at the river, like, this shit don't smell right. This shit don't look right. You guys ever seeing like literal poop like floating down the river? Bad, bad, bad. Okay. Now there's a number of kickers here. Like I said, who discovered it? The fucking river keeper discovered it. Not the Environmental Protection Agency, not the state of Maryland, not the Commonwealth of Virginia, not the District of Columbia, the fucking river keeper. Okay. Basically, from the federal government to the local state governments, they have been laissez-faire. They have been hands off with this situation. Motherfuckers ain't said shit. Motherfuckers ain't did shit to stop this fucking leak. And I want to remind you guys, Maryland has a Democratic governor. Virginia now has a Democratic governor. Washington, D.C. has a Democratic mayor. And all these fucking Democrats don't give a shit that the Potomac is full of shit. They haven't said shit. They're not doing shit. And I fucking hate it here. Brother Latif, let's go ahead and run the clip, please.
In the Potomac River, and neither of them are good news. First is the University of Maryland School of Public Health has gone out and done testing. They took samples on January 28th. This is the most comprehensive testing that has been done to date by anybody, whether it be the government, DC Water, or in this case, the University of Maryland. And they found not only extremely high and unsafe levels of E. coli in the water, which DC Water's testing, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers testing, and the Potomac River Keepers testing had all been finding E. coli for the past 2 weeks. But this testing went even further and has now revealed that there is MRSA and staph being found in the river at the site of the spill. And as far as 10 miles downriver in Washington, D.C., at the Georgetown waterfront, they found unsafe, elevated levels of both staph and E. coli. So this is the first time we're getting reports of the contamination going that far downriver into the district. We knew before Fletcher's Boathouse, which is a few miles upriver from Georgetown, had tested positive for E. coli, but this is now staph and E. coli, dangerous levels found at the Georgetown waterfront. The good news from the University of Maryland's testing is they continued their testing further downriver into Prince George's County at National Harbor, and they didn't find any elevated or unsafe levels of E. coli or any other pathogens down there. So that's some good news. The other bad news, late Thursday, DC Water announced that they had discovered a massive boulder wedged inside the underground interceptor pipe that they are repairing, and that is going to delay repairs and cleanup by as much as 6 weeks. That gets us into March, that we know that this sewage will continue to spew out of the interceptor in a controlled manner into the C&O Canal and then back into that underground pipe. This is just a tough news for environmentalists and everybody concerned with this disaster. The DC Department of Environment today announced that they are going to begin almost 3 weeks after the spill doing their own testing. And they are now advising people not to have contact with the river.
3 weeks after the spill, a DC agency finally said something. And again, DC environment, like that's literally the city. That's not the federal government. Okay. Just to make sure that we are clear on the distinctions. The federal government hasn't said fuck all. I mean, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, I take them at their face. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, I'm sure they can take tests and shit, but nigga, you are not the fucking EPA. You are not the National Institutes of Health. You are the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Go fix the shit. In the meantime, what does this mean? What does this spill? What does this prolonged exposure to E. coli, staph, MRSA, MRSA, by the way, MRSA, y'all, you know, MRSA kills people. All this shit kills people. E. coli kill people. Staph could totally kill people. What does it do to the fish? What does it do to the marine life? What does it do to the turtles who are probably going to be, well, trying to, like, what does this mean? Like when the birds eat the fish who have been swimming in the shitty water, when the wildlife, you know, eats the birds who have been eating the shitty fish and the shitty water, like, I'm not clear on what the long-term environmental impacts are. And I kind of don't appreciate the reporter there saying this is devastating news to environmentalists. To environmentalists, what about to residents, to people who live in proximity to the river, even not in proximity? I don't live nowhere near the fucking Potomac, okay? I don't. I'm guessing I live probably a smooth 40 minutes from the Potomac, okay? This is devastating news, period, point blank. Anytime our waterways endure further contamination, all of this is human caused, all of this is man-made, and nobody gives a fuck, right? The only way that the results of the testing that the reporter referenced, the only way this is news is because the University of Maryland, the School of Public Health, decided to undertake this on their own, to go and test and to do testing at multiple sites and test for different type, you know, different, pardon the pun, shit. Okay. And University of Maryland went out there to test for different shit, literally. And but for this public educational institution undertaking this, we wouldn't know. And but for the riverkeeper sounding the alarm to the community, to the public, the government wasn't going to say anything. So expect all of this type of not only infrastructure breakdown, right? Because America is the shithole country, everybody. If you want to look to a healthy society and look to the future, look to Asia, okay? Because them niggas is winning. China's got big shit popping, little shit stopping, all right? We live in the ghetto, okay? It's us. The whole country is the shithole, okay? And as our infrastructure continues to break down, you're going to see more instances like this. When you see cities falter under the weight of winter, which by my calculations comes every year. I don't see how people are still falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Not people, I mean our society and our government. Why are we still falling for the banana and tailpipe of winter? Okay, like you can defeat winter. You can actually build your roads and your sidewalks and your Department of Public Works. You can outfit them and equip them. We can improve what we have so that we don't keep falling back into these 20th century style of foibles, right? Like we keep doing the same stupid stuff, except this particular break of the sewage, and this is raw sewage, you guys, raw sewage going directly into the Potomac. I don't believe Westmore said anything. Abigail Spanberger, the new governor of Virginia, has said fuck all. Again, I don't think Muriel, but no one, everybody. And who even over the EPA these days? RFK Jr. He gave him 2 jobs. I don't even know who's over the EPA these days. It's probably Linda McMahon. It's probably fucking Hulk Hogan. I don't know who it is. I know Hogan is dead, but still posthumously appointed head of the EPA. Hulk Hogan. God help us. Okay, no, I'm not going to go to the snow story because I just said what I had to say on that. Where are we going next here, gang? Is anybody in here? Hello. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Coming in hot. Is there anybody in there?
Okay, that's better.
Just nod if you can hear me.
Peace, everybody. We got some more super stickers and super chats
Nice.
that I'd
Thank
like
you,
to
guys.
mention. Thank you, Cambridge Giles, for the $10 super sticker. Also, looks like we have a new subscriber.
Oh.
Becca Boo Eller. Thank you for your super chat. Becca Boo Eller says, I saw you live randomly. Thank you for what you are doing.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Come on in here.
And last, thank you, Cynical, for your super chat. Cynical says, stay warm, y'all. Frozen face emoji and the sneezing face emoji. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, gang. It's a cold winter. Y'all ends better bundle up. And I better be a hotter summer grabber under just to rock it down. We hot now. Listen up. Don't you know cops' sole purpose is to lock us down? Speaking of locking down, so the attacks on the press keep going and going and going and going. And even before the illegal and just reprehensible arrest of journalists Georgia Ford and Don Lemon, along with 2 others. This just happened, last week? Again, that we are in the oddest timeline because the way that time is moving, it's moving both slow and fast, and I don't dig it. I do not dig it at all. At all. However, here's the thing, y'all. If you are in the mix, if you are out here with the shits, if you are raising your voice up online, assume that you have been added to some list. I assume I have been added to some list. I would like to travel out of the country perhaps this summer. And before I attempt any sort of international travel, I'm going to go down to the passport office and make sure they haven't canceled my shit. Okay. Because apparently that's a thing now, right? They are randomly canceling people's what's the shit called? The global nomad system. I don't know what the fuck the shit is called, but you know what I'm talking about. And the TSA pre-check. Some people are having their TSA pre-check canceled seemingly for no reason at all. And when folks reach out to the State Department and reach out to the passport office, no one has answers. No one knows anything. So it's just a coincidence that some of the folks having their shit canceled have spoken up on behalf of Palestine and also in opposition to the current administration and, of course, the ICE occupation of our entire country. But in the interim, if you are a person that likes to mix it up, you go out in the streets, you talk your shit online and in real life, and you have an iPhone, consider putting your iPhone in lockdown mode. Now, before the arrest of Don Lemon and Georgia Fort, there was a Washington Post reporter. I think the feds kicked in her fucking door. God damn. And she lived around here, and they come and kick her door in, right? Because she has contacts. People have reached out to her, sources within the government who are snitching basically on the shit show in which the Trump administration has run the federal government into. Yeah. But as much as companies like Amazon and Google and Meta and Microsoft and Apple are the villains very much in this story. The tech oligarchs and the tech billionaires are not the heroes. Then, you know, that they are also the bad guys, because they will hand over your information without a warrant to the government, because they too are a bunch of fucking bootlickers. However, I guess Apple wants to maintain a little bit of street cred out here and has included what they call a lockdown feature on the iPhone. Now, 404 Media, an independent media outlet that you ought to be following. They do a lot of interesting reporting, especially coming from the cyber realm, especially if you don't fully understand all the cyber shit. 404 Media is a good source to check out, because the reporters do an excellent job of breaking things down that makes it accessible, makes the information accessible. So this report we're about to check out from 404 Media details what the lockdown mode on your iPhone is, why it might be a good idea to, you know, do that. Especially if you're a person that is protesting actively against this government. If you are an organization and your organization has been name checked by this administration, or not even by this one, shit, Joe Biden was name checking fucking some of the organizations of our comrades. Like, you know, this shit it ain't safe out here. It ain't cute out here. So anywho, if you with the shits, you might want to pay attention to this story. And especially if you are an iPhone user. I'm sorry, you Android people, via con Dios. I don't know what to tell you. But if you got an iPhone, pay attention to this shit, please and thank you. Let's run that, Brother Lateef.
Deep Dive gets into the often overlooked feature of Apple devices that makes them broadly overall harder to hack. In January, the FBI raided the home of Washington Post reporter Hannah Nadenson as a part of an investigation into leaks of classified information. Court records we obtained show exactly which devices the FBI could and could not access. Quote, because the iPhone was in lockdown mode, CART could not extract the device, the court record reads, referring to the FBI's computer analysis response team. The FBI raided the reporter's home as part of its investigation into a government contractor who is charged with, among other things, retention of national defense information. The government believes that the contractor is a source of the reporters and said they provided the reporter with classified information. The court record mentioning lockdown mode was filed on January 30th, which is 2 weeks after they raided the reporter's residence, indicating that the FBI was unable to get into the iPhone after all that time. Apple primarily promotes lockdown mode as a feature to mitigate remote access spyware sold by companies like NSO to government agencies. Essentially, lockdown mode makes some changes to iOS to make it harder for a third party to hack. It blocks most message attachment types, loads web pages differently, and stops a FaceTime call unless you've called that person in the last 30 days. There's this constant cat and mouse game between the creators of these people who make the phones, namely Apple and Google, and the firms making tools to break into them. In 2024, 404 Media reported that Apple quietly inserted code that was rebooting iPhones after they've been turned off for a certain amount of time, making them harder for police to access.
Okay, is that, did we get the first part of that clip? It sounded like it's kind of started and she was already kind of mid-sentence. So anyway, I hope you guys got the chance to get that information. Please go check out 404 Media and get the total story. And if you want to know how to put your iPhone in lockdown mode, there are no shortages of videos that will tell you how to do that. And, you know, I think I mentioned this on the Remix Morning Show that we need to be better with all this shit. And I know all of the cat is out of the bag. Whatever Palantir or whoever wants to know about you likely can be known or information easily obtained. But, you know, maybe we should not put any more information out there. You understand? So I know with this latest iOS update and of course the recent purchase of TikTok by Oracle, changes in privacy and surveillance have been made to some of these apps, or the disclosure of the level of surveillance that these apps do to you about, what websites you go to after you leave the app, even how you move about in your home and your location data, where you go, how often you go there, who you hanging out with, all that shit. We got to start dialing all that back. Okay. Dial it all down. And even though we are far beyond the point of simply turning off your phone to maybe cloak your location or to not have yourself be tracked, yeah, we're way past that shit, everybody. No, they don't give a fuck. They don't need your fucking phone to be on to find you. So we got to get creative, beloveds. We have to start figuring out analog ways of communication. Like, I'm sorry, I'm Gen fucking X out here. I know how to survive without a cell phone. Okay. Like, we don't need it. And most importantly, your phone is a snitch, as I've said to you many times. So if you have like kids and shit, teach them how to move without the phone. I know, but we need it for safety. Bull fucking shit. Your ass didn't need it for safety. So, like, I'm 47 years old. Just get on my bike and bike miles away from home. I'm sorry. Do you think 1985 was somehow safer than fucking 2026? I don't think so. Yes, they was absolutely snatching children's out here. All these goddamn Epstein files, those was Gen X kids basically getting fucking snatched and abused. You see the people giving testimony, recounting their stories and shit on social media. I'm looking at people my fucking age, okay? So miss me with, oh, it's different now because it's more dangerous. The fuck it is. No, it isn't. The problem is y'all giving y'all children these fucking devices and the creeps is coming to your house through the fucking device. Okay? At least the pedophiles of the 80s, them niggas had to get out in the van and work. They had to go get gas. They had to stake out locations and shit, ambitions. These pedophiles of the 21st century, these niggas don't have to go nowhere except to your house directly to come claim your fucking child. Why? Because you not watching your kid and your kid done gave your address to the goddamn pedophile coming to pick up your fucking kid. Whereas in the 20th century, the pedophiles actually had to work for their victims, okay? Work. It's not funny, but you understand. So my point is this: your phone is a fucking snitch. Your phone is telling everything, not only that you're doing, but whatever your children are doing online. It's all been documented and verified by the cloud and data centers and all that. So maybe we go into the settings on all the fucking apps. And again, to be clear, they intentionally make this shit a pain in the ass so you won't do it, right? Because they know Americans in particular will trade convenience for privacy every time. Every time. We talk about that on the morning show too. The dumbass motherfuckers who put the goddamn RFID, is that what the shit's called, in their hand? The key fob in their fucking hands so you can get in and out the office. What are you niggas on crack? What are you smoking, rocks? Just so it's easier for you to get in and out the fucking office, you're gonna chip yourself. Jesus help us. Go into your apps and toggle off shit. Now don't ask me which shit to toggle off. Ask the internet what shit to toggle off. But it's important that you go in your apps and start toggling shit off. And I mean all the goddamn apps, every single one. There's no reason your banking app needs to know where you are, or what is the I'm trying to think. Who needs to know which of these apps? They have to know where I am. Maybe Lyft. I don't know. Who needs to know where I am? Nobody needs to know where you are. Okay. So turn all of that shit off. Oh, well, your location can't be verified. It seems that you're far away. Yes. They're going to ask you they're going to give you all the prompts and ask you how come they can't exactly find you. Oh, it will be so much easier for you if you just turn on your location services. Unto that, I say, nay. Do the night night. Am I my last story? What time is it? Does that say 10 o'clock? That can't be right, is it? Okay, well, hold on. I appreciate y'all being here. Like videos, smash the favorable things. Y'all know how
More
YouTube.
perfect union.
I'm sorry.
And the last one is more perfect union. The tenant.
Oh, thank
you.
The
tenant. Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, gang. My palate cleanser. You may not feel so cleansed by this, even though no one dies. Everyone's alive. That's all that is always important. On my show, you never know. But what people are facing, not only in Minneapolis and likely in every corner of the country where ICE is intimidating migrant communities out of going to work, out of taking their children to school, out of participating in everyday life, people are literally sheltering in place, I would guess, by the millions potentially, right? I don't think there's a safe corner in the country where ICE agents are not making their presence felt and literally scaring the shit out of people, because people understand that they are very close to being kidnapped. However, that doesn't mean, just because people are sheltering in place doesn't mean that bills don't have to be paid and that rent doesn't have to be paid. And around the first of the month, I saw a lot of mutual aid requests coming out of Minneapolis in particular, asking for people to help because people cannot go to work in order to sustain themselves. And landlords don't give a fuck if their tenants are not able to go to work. However, you know who does give a fuck? The people of Minneapolis. And they formed a tenants union, and they are making a demand of Governor Tim Walz to implement an eviction moratorium, which I think is a fantastic piece to action around, to mobilize and organize around. I think really the whole country should engage in rent strikes and mortgage strikes, because the system needs to be put not only on notice, but the system needs to bend and it needs to heal. HEEL, heal to us. You know, like Hillary Clinton said, she had to bring the super predators to heal. She didn't mean HEAL. Fuck her too. But anyway, so More Perfect Union on the scene, covering the righteous news, one of several independent media outlets that we definitely encourage folks to support. Black Agenda Report, Black Liberation Media, On-Site Media, Breakthrough News, Status Coup, Unicorn Riot, and More Perfect Union, among others. So check out the coverage of this rally to pressure Tim Walz into signing an eviction moratorium, which would undoubtedly benefit thousands of Minnesotans who are forced to stay home because the state is under federal troop occupation and they are only targeting black and brown people for ICE detention. But obviously, they are shooting white folks as well. So let's take a look.
Governor Walz does not sign. My neighbors are currently getting snatched off the street. A teenager was taken on my street. And if Governor Walz does not sign an eviction moratorium, I fear many more of my neighbors will be taken. And that is unacceptable.
As a Somali American, I am constantly terrified, carrying the burden of how I'll make it to work safely, how I'll make it home safely. I know thousands of my neighbors are being forced to to ask the same questions.
We're not going to GoFundMe our way out of this problem. No, we're not. We need action from our governor to enact a statewide eviction moratorium now.
We do not know how long this occupation will last. And for long as it does, me and my neighbors here are committed to taking care of each other. Organized tenants keep us safe more than unorganized tenants. That's why I believe every tenant deserves a union. And today, tenants across Minneapolis and St. Paul are launching a Twin Cities tenant union! The only way out is through, and the only way through is together with a union. Solidarity!
Say it with me. No eviction under occupation.
No eviction under occupation.
No eviction under occupation. The Twin City Tenants Union announced its formation, and that is very, very encouraging. I appreciate these kind of actions. There are a number of tenant unions that have gotten some gains for their members. Obviously, KC Tenants out of Kansas City come immediately to mind. I remember there was a tenants union created either Tennessee or Kentucky. I want to say maybe it was Kentucky, where the tenants of buildings owned by a particular like corporate landlord banded together and decided to undergo a rent strike or create their own tenants union. And instead of all of these, posturing executive orders from these Democratic representatives that we kind of talked about earlier in the week, who was it? It was Brandon Johnson kicked it off with the executive order that he was going to start, running tape on ICE, telling Chicago police to investigate ICE. Maura Healey out of Massachusetts. Then I saw Mayor Wu out of Boston just announced her executive order. Then I saw Johnnie announce his executive order. And I'm like, all this is cool. But it would be really cool if like an eviction moratorium would actually supersede all of these executive orders that ICE agents are likely to disregard anyway. And even if, say, for example, at Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago's direction, for Chicago police to document and XYZ. And what are the penalties for the Chicago police if they decide not to do that, Mayor Johnson? What are we talking about here? Like, what happened? Like, it sounds great. You want your cops to do this? That sounds great. What happens if they don't do it? Crickets. That's what I thought. Yeah. However, an eviction moratorium is tangible, right? That's material. That's something everybody will benefit from and everyone will feel. Okay. No eviction under occupation. Who comes and evicts people out of their homes? Out of their homes. It's usually the sheriff's department. In Minneapolis in particular, Hennepin County Sheriff's Department, not the good guys. they have not been the good guys. In fact, there's been so many stories. I can't bring y'all everything, but the same week, you guys will remember the same week that remember the ICE agents attempted to go somewhere. Listen to me. Listen to my crack reporting here. ICE agents attempted to raid an apartment building. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but they abandoned their vehicles because so many members of the community showed up, and they claimed that guns were taken, sensitive information left by the FBI agents and the ICE officers in these vehicles that they themselves abandoned because they were overwhelmed by members of the community. So, acting on a tip, Hennepin County sheriff's deputies raided these other apartments because they had information that the stolen guns allegedly were in this woman's apartment. Well, they kicked in the wrong fucking door, raided the wrong apartment, didn't even have the addresses match on the warrant. The address on the warrant did not match the door that they kicked in. Hennepin County Sheriff's deputies, not ICE, right? So all of these fucking cops ain't shit. All of these police departments, these sheriff's departments, they all ain't shit, okay? All of them ain't shit. And because of ICE occupation, Hennepin County is probably receiving a lot of requests for evictions, would be my guess, because we live in a capitalist society and landlords can sometimes be among the worst of the capitalists, right? So Tim Walz would literally be saving lives. He would be making a difference into the lives of not only those impacted by the ICE detentions and the ICE raids, but literally everybody whose work in some way, whose everyday life in some way has been upended and disrupted by this federal occupation of not only their city, but their state. But see, Democrats will stand up there and grandstand with these executive orders that they can't enforce, that their cops probably read these executive orders in Chicago, in New York, in Boston, and all these places, and they chuckle at that shit in the break room. Everybody, can you imagine? They want us to go take pictures of ICE? Fuck out of here, right? Like, I can hear the cops laughing at that shit right now, right? But the Democrats who likely have some sort of more eviction moratorium authority won't use that, right? Because they are themselves the puppets and are beholden to the owner class, right? And that's why we have to burn this whole fucking thing down, because the Democrats, the so-called opposition to whatever the fuck's going on right now, from the White House and the federal government, this ain't no opposition. They are going to capitulate. They are going to roll over. They are going to tell us to go back inside, go back home, just go, or just go out there and protest peacefully, or just make sure you document everything. Make sure you got your papers on you. It's like, why don't you make sure the fascists don't run amok and kill innocent people and kidnap even more innocent people? Why don't you do that instead of telling the people how they should respond to brutalizing by the agents of the state and to these deeply repressive conditions, right? I just cannot stand the Democrats. And the sooner that more people abandon faith and hope that the Democrats are going to do anything to serve as a substantive check on this authoritarian regime, no, we have to disavow ourselves of that fairy tale, that myth, that childlike wish. Okay, children think that someone's coming to save them. We are adults, and unfortunately, gang, in this moment, we are the adults. It's okay, like, it's us. We're the adults now. It's everybody is a big adulting age. We are the fucking adults. So if this shit continues to deteriorate and get worse, it will be our fault. It'll be our fault. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world been turning. We didn't start the fire. Though we didn't light it, though we tried to fight it. Little Rock, Pasternak, rain, smoking crack. We in the busy back and we not finished. I don't know. I can't. My teacher, our music teacher in 7th grade, Miss Jennings looked like death warmed over. Miss Jennings made us learn we didn't start the fire. But I don't know if we actually went through and examined every of the lyrics. It's like, well, why did you make us learn this if we weren't going to go, if you weren't going to go through and explain Bridge on the River Kwai to 7th graders in 1991? Why are you making us remember this? Does this make any fucking sense? Jesus Christ. Anyway, we love our boomers. We do not blame our bloomers. or our boomers, our bloomers or our boomers. We do blame them for some things, not all the things though, but some of the things. Yes, we do. Anyway, that is my show. But before I leave you, I want to leave on a couple of things real quick. I watch my local news because I love to throw things at my television. It's how I keep my hand-eye coordination straight, right? So I watch the local news and I try to line up my phone for that fucking 40-inch on the wall. Or is it 50-inch? Whatever. I don't give a fuck. So I watch the local news because I love to throw things at the television. I just wanted to say, guys, living in the DC area and watching DC local news, I really feel as though every day is some version of Don't Look Up. Locally here in Washington, they barely report on what's going on with the federal government, I guess, as it pertains to government shutdowns. But the way that news used to be reported here in DC, there would be someone at the city council, DC City Council. You'd have someone on Capitol Hill, local news, keep in mind. You'd have someone reporting from Annapolis, giving us Maryland news, and someone reporting from Richmond or reporting from the Northern Virginia counties and paying attention to what's going on in the government. That doesn't happen anymore. Okay. For the past 10 days, we've gotten wall to wall news about the snow. Okay. And the ice. Oh, and the au pair murder. If you don't know what the au pair murder is, God bless you. There was a double murder here maybe 3 years ago. The long and the short of it is a husband arranged for his wife to get killed. Please stop me if you've ever heard this story before. Okay. And I'm not trying to diminish the people that lost their lives in this murder case with this husband killing his wife and another person in cahoots with the mistress. But I've heard it. I've heard that story a lot of times, and I don't need the local DC news to give me the breaking news updates about the fucking lying, disgusting, cheating piece of shit husband taking the stand. That's not fucking news as people are being murdered in the streets by the president's secret army that has more funding than the next 7 industrialized countries' militaries combined, maybe, right? Like, local news in DC really acts as though ain't shit going on. There's nothing to see here. And when I tell you it is contributing to my confirmation that we are in truly the dystopia, you have people that are reporting the news in this city who very clearly don't read the news themselves. Like, they don't watch the news. Like, I can tell you on channels 4, which is the NBC affiliate, channel 5, which is the Fox affiliate, channel 7, ABC affiliate, and channel 9. My guess is out of all 4 of those channel 9s, the CBS affiliate. And I watch the news because I'm even if I don't come on here and critique the media, I am on my couch constantly critiquing the media, right? So maybe I should bring up some of these local broadcasts and pick them joints apart like I do all by my goddamn self for fun, I guess. I don't know why I do that. But anyway, I promise you, gang, I'm guessing there are 2 people out of 4 TV stations, maybe 3, that literally are themselves consumers of actual news, of federal government agency news, of international news, of news outside of this region on the East Coast, right? Like, maybe 3 people. The rest of them, I can tell that they don't keep up with current events. They don't keep up with international events. They have no fucking clue what's going on in the world, let alone in the halls of Capitol Hill. And as someone who used to be an avid news consumer, I mean, even I used to consume way more news than I do now. And throw in sports news. I used to follow sports. I don't follow sports the way I used to, not even close. I don't even give a fuck about the goddamn Super Bowl tomorrow. I don't give a shit about that goddamn Super Bowl. I know mama cooking. That's it. But please be sure to diversify your news in the ways that you collect news. And don't be afraid to loudly criticize your local media reporters and outlets. And the reason I actually should criticize them more, I just don't want to come off as a hater. It could be construed as hating. It's not hating. It is actually disappointment, right? It's actually heartbreak. For me to critique these places, I don't do that out of some sort of reluctance, because I've been watching these TV shows for years. I've been watching these stations for years. That's why I'm disappointed. That's why I'm heartbroken, because I've seen the level of reporting literally fall off a cliff. Channel 5 is the fucking worst. Like, I mean, they got two people over there that watch, three, and maybe all three of the people that watch the news in the market are at Channel 5. Maybe I shouldn't talk that big shit. Steve Chenevie watches the news, I can tell. Shamari Stone watches the news, I can tell. And Marina Morocco watches the news, I can fucking tell. Because when stuff comes up, they have a response. The rest of them, blank stares, blank stares, blank stares. Anyway, I just wanted to say that the local news media in DC is essentially don't look up, is the tone of the local news. And lastly, as the country tries to figure out what has happened to Savannah Guthrie's mom, I don't know what the latest is as of right now. She had been abducted, according to police, from her Tucson home last Saturday. So she's been gone a week. And that has got to be a very upsetting thing for your elderly mother to be abducted out of her home. I'm very sorry that has happened to them. At the same time, I wanted to extend my condolences to the family of Nathan Smith. Is that his name? Is it Nathan or Nathaniel? DJ Young Slade, who is the son of Lil Jon. They found this 27-year-old young man dead in a pond in the Atlanta suburbs. I want to say yesterday, Friday. He had been missing since Tuesday, and I hadn't heard much about it. And I was reminded of the Columbia Journalism Review, who had put together a tool showing that there is a hierarchy of attention when it comes to missing victims, when it comes to missing people. And this came out of a story in which a Black person had gone missing or was abducted, and the amount of news coverage, it depending on who goes missing and where they go missing, depends largely on how much attention that missing persons case gets from the media. And whereas people in the Atlanta metro area may have heard a lot about Little John's son being missing, I didn't hear that much about it. I heard a lot about Savannah Guthrie's mama being missing. And hopefully the Guthries will have a better outcome than the Smith family had with discovering DJ Young Slade found dead under very, in my opinion, I consider them suspicious circumstances, even though according to the news reports, the police are saying that they don't suspect foul play. He was last seen leaving his house at 6:30 in the morning. Some reports indicate that he was completely nude when he left his home, and the police even themselves said that he may have been disoriented. I'm not familiar with this young man's history or his health or his mental health, so I don't know what was going on, but I'm just reminded that even Black people with a little visibility, who may have a little money, who may even have a celebrity as a close family member, that level of urgency is not going to ever match the urgency that's put out to find a missing white person. And that's just an observation. I don't even have anything much to say else about it, because when I heard that little John's son was found dead, I was like, damn, I didn't know he was missing. But I knew a lot about Savannah Guthrie's mom being missing. But either way, our condolences go out to little John and his family, and to DJ Young Slade, and to all that knew them and love them, and even to the Guthries. Like, I hope that they find this lady's mama. I don't wish that on anybody either. So anyway, just my 2 cents at the end, gang. I love you guys. I'm very appreciative y'all made some time to join me tonight. Go and look at Me and Ear Doctors, Drew Hill Classical Breakdown Mini. It's on Black Liberation Media. I don't know if y'all liked it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, go check that out if you are so inclined. And I will see y'all back on Tuesday on Black Liberation Media for the Remix Morning Show. And see y'all back here Tuesday night. Pinky promise. Little twinskies. Roll up, gang. Be safe out here and stay warm. Thank you so much to Brother Lateef pushing the buttons. Thank you so much to Amale. And we will see y'all back here later on. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye-bye.